I'm Gloria Strode, and welcome to Straightforward. Today I have my awesome friend, the newly elected Charmaine Crabb from Council District 5.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, I can honestly say that you and I have been on many street corners
Yes, we
in
have.
this city, but for a good and honorable cause.
That's true.
We had the pleasure of working together. You were co-chairs with Tolly for keeping the freeze, and so we got out in the community and worked. And then you worked very hard when we had the reassessments or the revaluations of the properties, and you were instrumental in helping people to understand what they do in that process. Mm-hmm. And so that's how you became so popular. You agree? Well, that
May I remain popular.
Yes. No, but anyway, you've been in real estate for a very long time as well.
I have, since 1999.
1999. So you were actually in the business when we went through the crash, and then, so you've seen it up close and personal.
Right.
Right. And that was one of the things that you were saying when we were working on keeping the property tax freeze. You were saying that even through the crash, you know, having that freeze was a kind of a protection.
Yes, at that time it protected the city, but even when the city's being protected, their citizens are being protected.
Right.
Because the citizens expect certain services to be performed by the city. If the city doesn't have that income, then we can't provide those services. So the freeze actually protected the city. There were a lot of cities during that real estate crisis that they went bankrupt.
Right. Because they didn't have the revenue coming in
from the property taxes. Because when you're on that fair market value system, when the values of the properties are going down, then the taxes go down. With the freeze, yes, it's, you know, usually it works in the favor of the homeowner, but at that time it worked in the favor of the city, and as a kind of a sidebar as the homeowner, because the city was able to maintain its services.
Exactly, and so that helped with maintaining the revenue for the city, so they could provide the citizens the services that we were accustomed to.
Exactly.
And I think when we went out into the community, as you explained that to people, it kind of, the light bulb went off, you know? And so all that hard work. Then you took on the task of helping people with filing their appeals. Right. And we had a lot of elderly people that didn't really understand. And so you actually proved yourself worthy of serving the people. No, really. You went out and did it for free. You worked keeping the freeze for free. You worked on the appeals. How many appeals did you help people file?
Thousands.
I know. You never slept. Yeah, you were that famous worker bee. No, and that is why, you know, I believe, this is just my humble opinion, that when you threw your hat into the ring to be our District 5 counselor, which I live in District 5, and I'm very proud to have you represent us, no one got in that race against you, because you had proven with that 1,000 plus appeals that you were willing to work.
Yeah, I'm willing to work.
Even when you didn't have opposition, you still was out campaigning. We thought that
I didn't know any better.
Well,
I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
No, you were actually trying to make sure that the people knew who you were outside of the real estate world.
Right. I mean, I want people to know who they're voting for.
Yes.
I mean, I don't necessarily want to get a vote just because I'm the only name on the ballot.
Right. You wanted them to know who you were and then know some things about what you had already done in terms of serving the citizens before becoming the newly elected District 5 rep.
My next goal is to get those 13 that did write-ins.
You're losing sleep at night trying to figure out
who are those 13 people?
You gotta knock on their door and introduce yourself.
Like, please tell me why you voted for Mickey Mouse instead of me. I don't know who they voted for, but
right. And it might have just been someone that was not familiar. You know, Columbus has changed because you came to Columbus from a different part of the country. And how long have you been here?
I've been here since 1995.
Okay, so you've been here.
So I've been here longer than I've been anywhere else.
Exactly. You've raised your
boys
children
here.
And, you know, and your
My
husband
youngest one
said-
was born here.
Right. And so you've kind of been here, but we have people coming and going because we have Fort Benning. So it might have just been someone that didn't know the famous Charmaine Crabb.
Famous.
Yes. So when will you take office?
January of 2019.
So we'll be swearing you in January of 2019. And you'll be able to continue all of that awesome work that you've been doing all along.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And so you've been visiting City Council?
I have.
Up?
Well, that's one of the things, you know, I didn't have to campaign as hard as other people did.
Right.
Because I didn't have opposition. Yes, I did campaign, but I kind of used my time. I've been attending city council meetings since the beginning. I even went through the Citizens Law Enforcement Academy, and I graduated from that.
Really?
So it kind of gave me some insight into
Public safety.
Public safety and all the aspects of the law enforcement, you know, all three of the departments.
Who did you ride along? Did you do a ride along?
I did. I forget
Sheriff,
his name.
police,
I
or
could have
marshal?
done more. I got kind of busy there and the ride along, so I rode along with a police officer, and that was kind of interesting because there was a traffic accident down on Victory, and so we had to get there pretty fast, and he had to put the blue lights on, and it was
you
like
were excited.
I was kind of excited. It was like the parting of the Red Sea, you know,
Yeah.
all the
cars
cars just
move.
kind of go off to the
Yeah.
side, and you're just going through it. It was pretty exciting.
Isn't that something? So you were actually able to just go and see how they really do. It wasn't
Yes.
just a staging of riding in the car. You actually
No,
saw the real work.
I don't think that he knew. I mean, I think they come into their meeting and they say, we're going to have 4 people here tonight, and they're going to ride with you, and you, because we
It's
were
like random.
right. It was random. They didn't know until they got there that somebody would be riding with them, and we just got in the car with them. And
Right. So you didn't pick you, and they didn't pick you, and so it was kind of like that way you can really see with clean eyes. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, and I think that's very important because you'll be making a lot of decisions about public safety. Well, what we're going to do now, Charmaine, we're going to go to our first break to our sponsors, and then we'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by Chalk by Quincy introduces Excellence Redefined, timepieces of the finest technology, luxury, and class with tons of style at chalklifestyle.com. Renal Associates, LLC, a team of physicians dedicated to excellent kidney care with 5 convenient locations to serve you. Stark Avenue, Columbus, Bradley Park, Columbus, Lafayette Parkway, LaGrange, East Burkhalter Avenue, Buena Vista, and Springs Street in Warm Springs. The Framing Factory and Art Gallery, specializing in quality art and framing for all your needs. Original etchings, limited editions, and prints. Call Carlton Dickey today at 706-324-3823 or visit the Art Gallery at 1325 17th Street in Columbus. Vanessa Jackson's District 3 Successful Scholars Program, supporting students in achieving academic excellence, outstanding citizenship, positive social and cultural growth, believing in success for kids.
Come meet your new best friend at Paws Humane.
Adopting from your shelter makes sense. You get a great friend checked by our vet. They're fixed, all shots, microchipped, all ready to make you and your family's life better. 4900 Milton Road, Columbus. Paws Humane.
Come meet your new best friend at Paws Humane.
And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing my conversation with my awesome friend, the famous realtor, Charmaine Crabb. I tell you, boy, we got pictures of us on corners, 8th and 8th. some famous corners in this city, but definitely you've worked very hard for the community. We're so very proud and excited that you will be representing the awesome District 5, which is where we live.
Yep.
So you had Thrive in 5?
Five to Thrive.
5 to Thrive. Share with
Right.
our audience what that is.
Well, my campaign kind of went. I want to focus on 5 areas, and they're basic. I mean, it's what everybody needs.
Okay.
5 is a very diversified district, and so these are things that everybody in my district, everybody in the whole town, in the whole city,
Right.
would want to have. You know, we want. I'm a tax advocate, so I'm going to continue to advocate for, you know, the taxpayers. I in order to do that, in order to keep the taxes in balance, then I need to be a good steward of the taxpayers' money.
People need to be able to trust that you're going to do the right thing.
And so
Yes.
that's the second point. Crime is an issue.
It
We've
is.
got to hit it head on, and we've got to deal with it. We've got to support all law enforcement agencies, you know, equally.
Yes.
You know, so those are 2 more of, and then we need to go back to the basics and deal with our infrastructure.
Yes.
We've kind of been skirting around and you know, doing some frou-frou-y things, but it's no good to add buildings, add, you know, venues, all these things to our city if we're not going to maintain them.
If we can't keep them
We have to keep them up.
Buying a new car and the roof is leaking at your house.
Right.
Right.
It's like buying your house and not taking care of it, and it goes into disrepair. We have to take care of our city. We have to get back to taking care of our infrastructure. And so those are the 5 things. They're very basic.
Right. And not just for District 5, of course, that's your platform, your
Right.
focus. But you know that all citizens want that all over Columbus.
Yes.
Yes. So when you said we have to support all public safety, you said you went through the academy.
I did.
The Citizens Academy.
Right.
So you saw up close and personal what their missions are. And so when you say we need to support them fully, what do you mean?
Well, I think that we hear a lot of talk about, you know, we don't have as many police out there. We don't have, you know, that we're low in the sheriff's department and all, and the marshal's department and all this. But I also noticed during that time that they're very creative. They're very creative with the funds that they're given, with the number of officers that they have, and they make it work. So I
They're
would like to.
resourceful.
They're
and they're-
resourceful.
as
That
old
is a great
social worker,
word.
that's what we call it. Taking what you have and trying to make do.
Yes,
Yes.
they're very resourceful, and I applaud them for what they're capable of doing with the resources that are given them. I think I would like to see, and I'm hoping that the new mayor will do this. They'll kind of work a little bit better together and maybe fill in gaps. I think that there's gaps that could be filled in by the different agencies. You know, I think they do work well together.
Right.
But I think they can work better.
Right.
Even
Collaborate a little
Collaborate
bit
a
more.
little bit
Instead
more.
of us and them, it could be us.
Yes.
Not and them, but us.
And I'm not sure. I mean, I'd like to just see the 3 leaders get together and come up with some ideas and bring it before council and tell us, hey, we came up with this plan so that we could be working together.
And
I
ask
would
council to
encourage
support
them.
them.
Oh boy, I would encourage that 125%.
I know a lot of people don't understand that, you know, the sheriff takes care of the jail, the marshal does evictions, CPD is out on the street as well. So, you know, everyone has a role that they're playing.
They all have a role. I learned this, and I didn't know about this, but really the sheriff is the only department that is required by state law.
It's constitutional officer.
It's constitutional.
Yes.
And there's a lot of little other things that, you learn. I would encourage everybody to go through that law enforcement
And everyone
academy.
needs to read the charter, because I was on the Charter Review Commission appointed by former Mayor Jim Wetherington, and what we found was that even the Marshal's office role was to carry out the work of municipal court.
Right, exactly.
See, and so if you never read the charter, then you wouldn't understand, you wouldn't just know it,
That's something else that I've been doing instead of, as part of my campaign is reading the charter.
Yes.
Well, you and I need to sit down and go over that charter because you might be able to explain a few things to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I work with legal documents in my business,
Right.
but still sometimes legalese, you kind of look at it as like,
Well, I
I'm
always
not
tell
quite sure what
people
that
it's
word
the difference
means.
between shall and will or must and and or.
Very
and we
subtle.
we really spent a lot of time. John Schinkel was the chair. We spent a lot of time just even on phrases and making
Right.
sure that the language, and of course it had to be voted on, and all the changes by the citizens. So a lot of folks don't understand that that's the constitution
Of this, you're right.
of this government. And if it's not by the charter, then we're not following the rules.
Right.
Right.
And that's why I read it, because I wanted to make sure that I knew what my boundaries are. I want to stay in my pasture.
Right. No.
I don't want to jump
wanna
the fence and
right,
get out
you
of the
wanna know
way.
what
and-
your role is. You want to stay in your lane, and then you want to serve us, the citizens of District 5.
Right.
Because you have some very interesting people in your district.
We do.
We really do. Of course, you have us, and then, of course, our good neighbor, who's one of your biggest cheerleaders, Miss Annalisa Prickett.
Oh, yes.
And Miss Annalisa is very serious about her community, and of course, with National Night Out, you met a lot of people.
I did.
With
That was fun.
Yeah, as well, and you'll be doing more of those. But there are a lot of folks. We have retired
In
military.
fact, I think the first time that I, went public and told people other than my immediate family was
Right.
at that
National-
night, and
yeah.
when I pulled you aside and
Yes,
told you
at
and a
National-
couple other
Yeah.
the people in your neighborhood.
Yeah. And so those people already know you. They believe in you. Because as I say, to you, and I said to other folks, you have a moral compass. I know you to be a woman of your word. And I think sometimes that's all the citizens want. They don't want to
Right.
be dismissed. If Charmaine campaigned, even though she didn't have opposition, and said, I'm going to be a good steward of the people's money, then that's what we expect. And if you see where it's something that's different, then if you just go to people and tell them,
Right.
they don't feel hoodwinked.
I do. I'm looking for a way that I can communicate, not just social media, because
No.
to me, social media, I've just noticed, like during the tax reassessment,
Right.
People would get fired up on social media. And so like one time they said that they wanted to do like, not a protest
Right.
necessarily, but go down to the
Government.
Citizen Service Center and stand there when the tax assessors were going to meet on
Right.
one Monday morning. So I called the police. I got everything lined up. I was the only one that showed up.
I know, because they'll get excited on social media when it's time to go public.
Right.
But what we're going to do is take our final break, go to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by Warrior Outreach. Contact Command Sergeant Major Retired Sam Rhodes or Kathy Rhodes. The Hugel Foundation, enriching the community through Christian music support, community outreach, and the Georgia Through Photography Project. For more information, call B at 706-568-6431. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road, trusted by generations. Best Care, transforming minds and bodies, leading the way in the latest techniques of medical weight loss and wellness. Certified in family medicine and bariatrics, Dr. Blunt is ready to assist in the transformation of your mind and body. Call today, 706-221-6000. 888-888-6477 or visit bestcarecolumbus.com. East Alabama Endocrinology, educating and caring for those living with diabetes in Alabama and Georgia. 1400 Bradley Lake Boulevard, 3320 Skyway Drive, Suite 602, Opelika. Take charge of diabetes and live your best life. State Senator Ed Harbison, serving the citizens of Georgia's 15th Senatorial District and on the front line for veterans every day. And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing my conversation with the awesome Charmaine Crabb, our newly elected councilor for District 5. We are in good hands, so proud. I know you're going to do an outstanding job. You are approachable, you are accessible. Your life's work has been out selling homes, so you're a people person. I know
one thing I know about you, Gloria, yes, that if I mess up, you will be the first one to give me a call.
I will call you. Yes, I will. I will, because I believe in. I try to be a person of my word, and you say you're going to do a good job, and we're going to be behind you. Whatever you need, you know, you can call us, but we're expecting for you to serve the citizens of District 5. And when we went to the break, we were talking about not so much relying on social media. And I tell people, you just can't do social media because there's a whole nother world of people that don't even deal with social media.
Right.
We even have young people, because of all the drama and the bullying on social media, they've decided not to even deal with social media.
I think it's got a tipping point where it's kind of coming back.
Right.
A little bit.
And some of them are not just older people. That's what I was just saying, though.
Right.
You know, we got folks that grew up with typewriters versus computers and the cell phones and all of that. So we have to reach everyone.
Well, what I'm kind of hoping to do is like go into some of the restaurants in my district and, you know, just inviting people to, you know, show up at this, you know, Sapo's one night, or you know, our favorite place for
the oxtail.
For oxtail.
Yeah, and just say, I'm going to be here this day. You can meet me here. Let's chat.
And
I want to hear what you got to say. Yeah.
And I have been listening a lot more because I've realized, there's a lot to learn.
Yes.
I mean, last night I went to a community reinvestment meeting. I went away having so many questions, and they're very helpful. I really have. There's a lot to be said about the people that work for the city. You know, they want me to succeed too.
Sure.
You know,
because if you succeed,
and I want them to
succeed.
And I want them to succeed. And so it's really, I think it's going to be exciting to, you know, work with them.
It's kind of a learning curve, and that's the piece you have to learn about TADs and community development block grant money.
Exactly.
Where it can and cannot be used. And for you, it's probably going to be a little easier because you've been working in real estate.
Well, and I sat on NeighborWorks Columbus board for a while, and so I remember them talking about LIHTC and, you know, all these things, and it just rolls off their tongue really easily. And it took me a while for me to, you know, start understanding what we're talking about. But it's still, it is so complicated. But
you got to do your homework.
Yeah.
And then you have to be able to digest it and explain it to John Q. Public. You know, because I think sometimes we're communicating so high up here that we leave people down here, and then there's distrust.
Right.
So, and people fear what they don't understand.
Right.
Yeah, you know, and so that's something we really want you to stay on top of.
Okay.
Even if you do the District 5 newsletter, I said this to the person that was before you, and never, you know, did it ever come to fruition. That's not a negative, but you have to have a way to communicate with people to keep them informed.
I think more than one way. You have to have several.
Yes, you
do. I mean,
do.
I'm not going to totally give up social media. It's probably going to be the easiest way to get the word out to a lot of people.
Right.
But then I really do believe that face-to-face there is very important. I mean, you build more trust face-to-face.
Yes,
it amazes me in real estate how people will just automatically trust you with the most important financial
major purchase. Yes.
Just like boom. I've sold houses for people, never met them. I've had people buy a house sight unseen.
Yes, because they trusted the way you handled yourself and your, that really makes a difference.
Well,
though.
it puts pressure on me to make sure that I'm doing things right. Because, I mean, after someone puts that kind of trust in you, ooh, you just
that's
really
because
don't
you have
wanna...
that moral compass. Isn't your father a preacher?
No. My dad's an optometrist.
I know. I was just
but I do have a
teasing you.
theology degree.
Yes, I knew it was you, not your dad. You showed us a picture of him, the eye doctor. Yeah, but we knew that your degree was in theology.
That's where I get my hair.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, that's going to be very important. But also the tools in terms of the social media, the face-to-face community meetings, and the newsletter.
I think
because some
I like
people,
the newsletter.
Their schedules are so busy. Now the kids got a schedule. The parents are working, the kids are in soccer, ballet, taekwondo. I mean, it's just a whole lot going on. So I do know Debbie Buckner used to send out, before they redrew the lines, you would get a Debbie Buckner newsletter. And of course, I know they send them out on social media, via email, but we got a lot of mature people that's not on email.
I happen to know a writer-editor.
You happen to know.
Yeah, that's my husband. That's what he does for Aflac.
I know. So
he can help me with my newsletter.
Yes, free labor. Yeah, and you can cook dinner in exchange. Yeah, but that's going to be very important. So people don't feel left out, because it's important to us. I want you to be successful. I want District 5 to just be, we're going to really thrive. I want the entire city to come with us. I want you to lead the way. And we trust, because we've seen your work ethic, that you are going to be a good steward over our resources. You're going to be accessible. You're going to be accountable, because you got that moral compass. See, I remembered your degree was in theology. So we do
because it surprised you so much.
It really did, especially with your personality. It was like, whoa, Charmaine, that is a preacher. No, we knew he was an optometrist. But how can people reach you? I know in your day job you're selling real estate, so if you can just give us your contact information.
Let me tell you something. I am still going to be selling real estate.
That's going to be your full-time job. Yes.
I have had a couple people contact me thinking that I was getting out of real estate and going into politics. It's like, no. Politics on the local level does not pay well enough to pay the bills. So they can reach me by phone 706-392-6116. Or my email address is ckcrabb@gmail.com.
All right. Well, we're going to be excited, looking forward to that big swearing in coming up in 2019, and just stay in the fight for the citizens. We really appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. This has been straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.